independent in thought and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The special counsel investigated a number of links or contacts between the Trump campaign officials and individuals connected with the Russian government during the 2016 presidential campaign. After reviewing these contacts, the special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign.
Wow. What do you think of that? I don't. Who is that, Chad? That's Bill Barr. The bar. What kind of bar? Not a candy, but a bill. What do you think of it? Right? What do you think? You don't. Let's be real. You listen to talk radio, so you maybe care a little bit more, right? And most of it is because you want to be able to get on your high horse and go, ha-ha, I told you. Or ha-ha, not quite yet. But most of you, I went down to get something to drink earlier. I've got a nice little cafe next door. I go and I get a big thing of iced tea, and I go over and I was talking. There was about 5 people in line ordering food. I said, so what do you think of this? Because he was, the Mueller report, they're all behind there. All the TV stations are on because they've got TVs in there, and nobody's paying attention to it. And the one that's on that people are looking at, it's like one of those shows where you've got Michael Strahan, a bunch of other people, whatever, all chatting away. And I said, so what do you think? And one person said, is that today? What are they doing? Why? What's happening? And the other people it doesn't affect me. I don't care. Because the average person it's not that you don't care. And I think that's where people say, but you don't care in the sense that it affects your life. You'll look at it and then you move on, right? He's not going anywhere. You're over it. You're exhausted by it. We're 2 years into it. Today's more about the media and something for them to talk about. Well, whoo, we got stuff to talk about today because we thought today was just going to be a regular Thursday than it is anything else. That is the reality of this. If I would have told you that based on what took place today and came out of this, that you were going to get a 50-cent savings on gasoline for the rest of the year, every gallon, you may pay more attention to you because it actually affects you. But this, for all intents and purposes, hasn't really moved the needle to the way that a lot of people think it is. And they're going to run around, and it's hair on fire, it's screaming and yelling, it's, we found there's collusion here, there's this, I tweeted a bunch of stuff today, and it's so funny because the people that for 2 years have saying he's guilty, he's collusion, he's like, Chad, it's right in there. It's right, you can see it, it's right in there. I'm like, wait a minute. You were screaming for 2 years to let Mueller do his report. Now Mueller is a liar and he's a stooge, just like Barr, and he's all of these things. It is what it is. It was very exciting for the media. It was a Wikipedia and an opportunity to put this down in history books in 20 years. But outside of that, not a lot's changing. You had to get up today. You had to get the kids ready to school. You had to get them off. You got a big meeting. You're studying for a test, right? You're going to work. Kids are going to school. You got soccer tonight. You got baseball tomorrow. You got a tournament this weekend. That's the reality of this. While it's important in the overall historical look at something, he's not going to be impeached. They're going to try to impeach him potentially, but they're also going to be smart enough to go, wait a minute here. People have Mueller fatigue. The last thing they want to do is for us to impeach him, for him not to be impeached, knowing it's futile because Mitch McConnell and them are going to protect him because that's what you do with your president. And there wasn't any conspiracy. There wasn't any collusion. There wasn't any of that stuff. So you're going to try to get him for obstruction of justice on a crime that wasn't actually committed. And then we're going to impeach on that. And based on that, he's going to end up winning. He's going to strengthen himself and the rest of the country's going to hate us. Is that what you really want? Some of the stuff is interesting. One of the things I find to be interesting is this.
Oh, my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. According to the report, that's what President Trump said when he found out a special counsel had been appointed. How could you let this happen, Jeff? You were supposed to protect me, he asked of then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who the president had considered his most important appointment. The report says the president went on to say, everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
And by the way, oh my God, isn't what he said. He goes, I'm blanked. Yeah. Yeah. And Barr went out there today and he played wingman. It is what it is. Right? Oh, but he shouldn't be that way. Really? Have you seen the stuff that Eric Holder did? Everybody who is president of the United States puts in charge somebody in that position that in some way, shape, or form, you're going to call on them and they're going to be that wing person. Everybody. Eric Holder? Huh? How about Rosen and Fox? How about Fast and Furious? How about a few of those things? You do that because that's what you do. But that's not right. It doesn't matter. That's what you do. Barr went out and did what he did. You already thought your mind was made up before this. Your mind was made up before Barr even issued that thing in March. Once he got his hands on the report, your mind was made up. You either thought he was guilty or you thought he was innocent. Nothing has changed. Nothing.
There is substantial evidence to show that the president was frustrated and angered by his sincere belief that the investigation was undermining his presidency, propelled by his political opponents, and fueled by illegal leaks. Nonetheless, the White House fully cooperated with the special counsel's investigation, providing unfettered access to campaign and White House documents, directing senior aides to testify freely, and asserting no privilege claims.
He was frustrated. How could he? Wouldn't you be if you were elected president and the first thing that everybody says is you stole the election and then we're going to start looking into you in ways that yeah, of course, as a human being, you would be, right? As a human being, you would absolutely be. They're already trying to come after me. We should be going, well, it's good to know that our president and anybody close to him didn't actively seek or do anything like this. Maybe a few of them unknowingly got played, but outside of that, that should be a good thing. It should be. But it's going to be spun in the way that it's going to be spun. If you're on Fox right now, they're talking about all the things like, look at what didn't happen. Look at this. If you're on MSNBC, if you're on CNN, the coverage is going to be, man, look at all this stuff, this obstruction. The Congress has a chance to really take him down. Barr has ruined his life. I heard that Brian Williams, right? Brian Williams. Remember Brian Williams? He was at many of these meetings at the Russian Towers. No, Chad. But he said, so this is his legacy as a stooge for the president. This is what he'll go down as a lackey for the president. Has it changed your life today? Has any of this changed your life? Has any of it done that? Have you now come to the full conclusion where everything has changed? No, you haven't. And that's why we need to keep it in perspective. When I talk to people, still, immigration, healthcare, even the rising cost of gasoline is playing bigger on the average person's mind than this. Think about that for a second. You soak that up. Put it in perspective. You didn't win an award today. You still had to go to work. I still had to go to work. It's going to take days to suss this thing out. And if you're going to pick and choose things, you're going to be able to find anything you want to find about anything. I think the overall look at this is he needs to choose some better friends. It's not looking, it's embarrassing in certain positions, but doesn't rise to criminality. That you're trying to interpret, hey, Michael Flynn's a good guy. He's given some service. Maybe we go a little bit lenient on him. That's absurd. I mean, you're really trying to, you're reaching. And whatever you want to reach for, however you want to see it, you will find a way to see it. But does it change your life? Is immigration, yesterday, El Paso, massive influx of people into El Paso. Did it change anything? Right? Did it? right? Like, did this change anything today? It's like, hey, guys, we can't come in today and apply for amnesty because the Mueller report's coming out. So, no. Rising cost of health care, right there. Pharmacy prices through the roof. Gas rising. All those things are that matter to the American people. When they go next year, when you and I and everybody else go to the polls, and we're going to go elect a president, you're going to go, economy's good. I'm feeling pretty good. Things are better. My 401k is doing better. My job seems to be pretty damn secure. They're trying to do what they can on health care. Blah. You know what? There you go. That's what people are going to go to. They're not going to go, Russia, collusion. The left, it's anything. Collusion, obstruction. I don't like who he is as a person. Grab him by the blah. It doesn't matter. It's, I dislike this person. But the independent voters, the voters that can waft and have voted Democrat, have voted Republican, that you really have to grab, those people who are going to be going, who will decide it in a few certain states, what's in their bank account is more important than what's in this report. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
My parents are abusing. They abuse us. And my two little sisters right now are chained up. There's 13 kids. And then a mother and father.
And how many of your siblings are tied up?
2 of my sisters, 1 of my brothers.
You remember that? That happened not too long ago. That is the 911 call, and there's more of it from the Turpins. Do you remember the wacky, crazy Turpins? Yeah, David Allen Turpin and Louise Ann Turpin. They will be, tomorrow they will find out their fate. They've already pled guilty. They are going to jail forever. You know, they originally said not guilty. Then they decided to say, yeah, okay, guilty to 1 count of torture, 3 counts of willful child cruelty, 4 counts of false imprisonment, 6 counts of cruelty to an adult dependent. They ensured that each admitted guilt to at least 1 crime per child. The mandatory sentencing guidelines will mean they face 25 years to life with the possibility of parole. And they are going to find out their fate tomorrow. But listening to this little girl talk about this is the 911 call from that fateful day in Paris, California.
Do you think anybody in the house will need to go to the hospital?
I'm not sure. Sometimes we live in stilts, and sometimes I wake up and I can't breathe because how dirty the house is.
When was the last time you had a bath?
I don't know, almost a year ago.
Yeah, that is awful. So that happened on January 14, 2018. 2 of them left the house through a window. 1 returned out of fear. The 17-year-old daughter got away. That was her. And that was it. Police met her. She showed up. Officers saw what was going on, took photos, grabbed the kids, and that was that. They will be sentenced tomorrow. I have a feeling they'll probably end up doing... I would assume they'll probably get 50-plus years with the possibility of parole based on their age. I don't think that will ever happen. And good riddance to bad rubbish. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. It is interesting, you know, just the battle that's going on. Some people are texting, you know, let's talk about Chad. Let's be real. Let's talk about the facts. Here's the facts in this whole Mueller thing. All right. Here's the facts. Trump was totally fine with the Russians and everybody else doing what they were doing. Didn't order it. Didn't do any of that. Didn't conspire with the Russians. Didn't do any of that stuff, even though there was attempts made. He was totally fine with it while he was running for president. He was frustrated. Doesn't make it a right thing. Little bit dirty at times, but the reality is in life, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Can you prove without a shadow of a doubt to the point where you're going to get Republicans jump ship and impeach this guy No, you can't. You can't. You can't. You can scream about it all day.
Whether the obstruction of justice was criminal or not, or whether these contacts were sufficiently illicit or not to rise to the level of a criminal conspiracy, they are unquestionably dishonest, unethical, immoral, and unpatriotic, and should be condemned by every American.
Yeah, they should be. But you know what? We should be happy, too, that he didn't, and they didn't. And somebody texted in and said, stick with the facts. And I said, what facts? The left's facts? The right facts? Whose facts? I said, this is what Americans care about. Rising cost of gas, healthcare. Oh, well, why are you talking? You're talking about those now. I've talked about those always. I've always said the average American could give a rat's ass about these kind of things. This is the Super Bowl, the Olympics, the World Cup, the Oscars, the Grammys for the political world. The average person, and I've talked to several of them. I go down next door, I got a little cafe, cruise over there, go out, get my drinks, take walks. I see people all day. I try to walk about 15, 20,000 steps if I get in every day. I talk to people because that's just my nature. You know what? Not a one of them is like, man, I couldn't sleep last night. Not a one. Not a one because of this. This is a game that they play in the world of politics because it's a great way to demonize the other side, to make money, to bring money into your coffers, to run and talk about how you're going to take down the other side. This is what you do. Immigration, healthcare, doesn't matter. How can I capitalize on this and take the politics of it and use it to my advantage to make some coin so I can keep my fiefdom intact? That is number one most important thing. The more I hang out with politicians, the more that I see them, I'm around them, and for years I tried to avoid them, but I know it's part of the job. But I will tell you this, the more you start to realize, it's about power, it's about control, it's about look at me, look at me, look at me. It's about my fiefdom. Rarely is it about what's right for the people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Snap! Yeah, Snap. Amazon. Walmart. Huh? Yeah, wait till you hear this. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
That should make people feel very good about democracy, and it should make them feel really great that a campaign that I managed to its successful end did not collude with any Russians. We're accepting apologies today, too, for anybody who feels the grace in offering them.
The grace in offering, accept thy apologies. I am waiting. Kellyanne Conway. I think she goes home tonight with her husband, George, just argues. I'm waiting. And he's going to go out and tweet. He's going to troll the president. The president's going to troll him back. Oh, the president is the king troll. And if you don't know what that is, and you're like, how dare you say that about a president? It's an online thing. He is, that whole Game of Thrones thing that I thought was pretty funny. And it's so funny because certain outlets, really lefty outlets, picked it up. And they got all super like, oh, that's a video game reference and this, that. You're not understanding trolling. You're not getting it the way you should, right? But the Mueller report's out. He's going to come testify. You know, they said, when are you going to let? Are you going to let Mueller testify? Barr's like, yeah, go ahead. He can testify. Well, are you going to let him say anything he wants? You guys bring him in. Do what you want. So next month, he's going to come testify. And in doing that, you're going to hear pretty much probably the same thing. Right? Some of it vague. Well, obstruction's hard because there wasn't an overriding crime. So if you don't have a crime, how do you obstruct something that wasn't there? It's like you're hiding something that you didn't do wrong. And could we? Here's here's to my friends on the left. This is a question I've been asking people all day. Hillary wins. If this is such a huge deal for America, do you think this goes on? So if Hillary would have won that night, right? And so, she comes out, she wins, she goes to the stage, blah, 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 blah. I spoke to Trump. He said, good luck, congratulations. And so she would have won. Do you think all of this would have gone on? No. Trump would be out there tweeting, doing what Trump does, maybe doing another television show, maybe still hated, maybe back in the good graces of other people because he's not president, and none of this stuff would have come up. If this is such a huge issue, and I'm not saying that we wouldn't have spoken about Russia, because we would have, but it would have been in such, just in passing. It would have been one of those things where like, hey, did you see what they tried to do to divide us? And it would have been on the 5th page of the New York Times and a couple editorial things in the Washington Post and a few other little places here and there. But outside of that, it wouldn't have been this huge thing. Obama thought she was going to win. She thought she was going to win. He won. They're still trying to figure it out. Hell, I still think he's probably trying to figure it out. How did this happen again? I want to make sure. So we'll see. But it's not over. Oh, no. It is definitely not over. Right, Adam Dipchiff?
It's certainly not game over in the sense that there's a lot more that we need to know that's redacted in this report.
Yeah. And speaking of the redacted report, this is what they're going to get. There's going to be some people. They're going to have a chance. There's going to be 8 bipartisan. They call them the Gang of 8 or whatever. Another Gang of 8. Like they'll have a chance to look at certain things. Certain things are under grand jury, so you're not going to see them, even if you think I should see everything, because those things are stuff that's under investigation. So you may see the stuff under some investigation, but you're not going to see some of the grand jury stuff that you think that you're going to see. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. But this isn't over. It's going to go on. And the question for a lot of people is when is it too much for the average person where it starts to, because most of the people I've talked to, even people who are Democrats, are like, I'm kind of over this. We've got bigger fish to fry and things that need to be addressed heading into the next election cycle, which is already here, 550 some odd days until the next election. There's things that need to be talked about. Infrastructure, healthcare, those kind of things. This isn't moving forward. This is looking back. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So I know we're not a socialist country at all. You know that. I know that. We all know that, right? And that the poor here have it horrible. But I heard this today. I thought every time I hear somebody bitch about, the poor have it horrible, think about this for a second.
Amazon and Walmart are kicking off the 2-year pilot program in New York City and state established by the government to allow low-income shoppers on SNAP, what used to be food stamps, to shop and pay online. ShopRite will join the retailers early next week, says the Agriculture Department, which oversees the program. SNAP customers have been using a special debit card. Plans are to expand the online program to Alabama, Iowa, Maryland, Nebraska, New Jersey, Oregon, and Washington.
So think about that for a second. So people on food stamps or SNAP, they're going to now be able to shop online. They say, it's going to help single moms and older people and people with disabilities. I get that. I understand that. But I always hear how horrible it is, how awful it is. When we think about how lucky we have it in this country, that even people who struggle and get assistance from the United States government, from taxpayers, they're now going to have a chance to shop online. That's pretty cool. And for the retailers, they really wanted this. This is also a follow the money thing, because there's $68+ billion out there that now can be had, and they're ready to fight over it. And you watch how fast this thing expands over the coming weeks and months. But it is kind of funny. Like, our people who struggle here are a little bit nutritionally overachieving, and now they can order stuff directly online and have it brought to them. Other people who do okay in other countries are like, it's hot. We have bad cell service, and there's only one of us who's got a cell phone. And we got one car. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Kim Jong-un is making noise as he likes to do because nobody's paying attention to him.
The test or the launch, depending on how you want to characterize it, was not a ballistic missile. So I think that's a statement in and of itself.
Yeah, he tested a missile that, according to what we've been discussing and what's been talked about and kind of signed off, is he's well within his rights to do this. This wasn't a ballistic missile. It wasn't any of those things. But he's going to be heading to, I think it's next week, he's going to be heading to Russia. He's pissed. Nobody's paying attention to him. He doesn't want Pompeo to come over anymore, right? He wants somebody else. Like, don't send Mike Pompeo anymore, which is no, because now it's getting to the nitty gritty, right? We've played the game. Trump has entertained you. You don't want to step it up because you like the fact that you can rattle your saber every once in a while. Now you're starting to make demands like, no Pompeo, I'm going to go see Pooter. Go ahead and do your thing. Throw your little fit, but I have a feeling after the second meeting that abruptly ended that the niceties could be coming to an end, and you could start to see some of the antics again and some of the stuff start to ratchet up. And including the dialogue on the Twitter with the Trumpster, and I'm interested to see what happens, because as we talk about all of this stuff today, right, the Mueller and on, this is an issue here that because of Mueller, because of a few other things, nobody's been focusing on, but he's still out there going, hello, hello, hello. And now he's going to make some more noise. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Some of you are tweeting in. Chad, what about, obstruction of justice? One person just said, what about the obstruction? The facts are right there. Him being pissed and angry and saying, you should fire that guy. We should get rid of that guy. I remember when first all of this stuff happened with Mueller. The Mueller investigation was never going to go all the way through. Remember, he could have fired like James Comey. He could have said, I don't like how tall he is, and get rid of him. Well, that's obstruction. It's not obstruction. I don't like how tall he is. It's not what you know in life. It's what you can prove. You have to, essentially, we need a Wayback Machine that also happens to be a mind-reading machine to get into Trump's mind at that point in time to think about even talking about some sort of obstruction. This is not going to happen. It's not. I'm through almost 100 plus pages. I spoke earlier with Senator Martha McSally, and I just told her I'm going to wait for the musical because it's a dry read. The first bit of it is kind of everything that, most of what William Barr is lined up in there is kind of what was said. It was weird that he did a press conference. I will say that, but the reality is you're going to go look through this thing if you want to. And again, they're already talking about, well, what about the meetings with the Russians for Russia's the tower meetings and trying to build stuff over there. I mean, you're looking for something. You want that Al Capone thing where if we're not going to get him for this, we're going to get him for that, which just shows me you're not really interested in anything other than you just want to get rid of this guy, which is, look, that's fine, but you're going to probably have to get rid of him the old-fashioned way by trying to vote him out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Speaking of voting him out.
What do you think about Bernie Sanders? If Bernie Sanders is for getting rid of low-skilled workers, so is to ensure higher wages
and protecting the border, if he went back to his original position, which is the pro-blue-collar position, I mean, it totally makes sense with him. If he went back to that position, I'd vote for him. I might work for him. I don't care about the rest of the socialist stuff. Just, can we do something for ordinary Americans?
And Coulter. She trolls Trump too harder than anybody. She does. She does. Even if he built a wall with her face all over it, championed her and gave her a military-style parade, and made her Miss America, I don't think she cares at this point in time. Because she thinks she's a big, fat liar face. I don't think Bernie wants you on his team. Bernie's biggest thing is, I wonder how he feels. Hey, did you hear Ann likes you? I don't care about the rest of the socialist stuff. Just let's do something right. Look, I'm all about immigration. Let's figure this thing out. But they're not going to figure it out because nobody's got the want, the political might or will to get any of this stuff through. They just don't, because you have to You have to want to take it on to a point where you may even have to sacrifice your political career to make enough noise to even move the needle a little bit. And even at that point in time, you need a bunch, not just one person. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Car Shield. I got my car outside. I can see it. Man, I killed a lot of bugs in the last couple of weeks. We've had these bugs everywhere, and it's just like I get out and I'm like, oh goodness me. What I love about Car Shield is the fact that I feel confident. I drive a lot. This weekend I'll be driving probably 600, 700 miles. Yesterday and the day before I drove 550 miles. This week alone I'll probably put on about 1,800 miles just on this car alone this week from all the driving. I take care of my car the best I possibly can, but knowing that I have somebody to help me in the back end with cover repairs should something go wrong. That's where Car Shield comes in. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. Speaking of the shop is the shop you choose, not one they choose. So you could take it to your dealer, whoever you want to take it to. They'll get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible and away you go. And I love that. And they've got all kinds of different plans. Check them out at carshield.com. Use my code Benson. That saves you 10% right there. Or you can go call them 800-CAR-6000, 800-CAR-6000, and use my code Benson to save you 10%. But you will be really happy with what they have to offer. Carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Sound advice, Captain America, but some scenes from Avengers Endgame have apparently made their way online, containing multiple spoilers and details. The clips were reportedly shot on a phone, and on screen you can see Arabic subtitles. Marvel has gone to great lengths to keep the movie under wraps, including bypassing many of the media screenings leading up to the release. A lot of people will start seeing it next week, starting with the world premiere Monday in Hollywood, and then Avengers Endgame hits theaters a week from Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be going. I'll probably see it next Thursday night. That's just kind of the person I am. I'll go out to a late showing. We're going to go see a movie tonight. But it shows you just how we can't keep our mouth shut, right? Like, somebody's always looking for something. That's why, like, the whole thought process yesterday, we were talking about Bob Kraft, who is suing to make sure the sex tapes from the spa in Florida don't get out. The reality is if it's out there some way, shape, or form, somebody's going to get a hold of something. And if you're not famous, it probably doesn't matter. But if you're famous, or if it's something like this and somebody has a chance to spoil it and get it out there to the world, inherently we can't keep our mouth shut. And I got a secret I got to tell somebody. Cannot, I've got this. Oh my God. Spoiler alert. I'm surprised that big media companies don't shoot a different weird version of something. So when then they release it. And I've heard that that's something they're thinking about doing. Is shooting something else that has very little to do. So, like, if they show it to certain things and then they release it, it's a much different. Because it's the fear factor again. It's not. I don't think it's going to stop anybody from going to see it, right? Because I'm going to go see it. But it is funny that people just want to ruin so many things for everybody. Get it out there. Like, what are you getting from this? How did you get a hold of this? Because somebody who's probably making $20 an hour, $15 an hour in a place where $200,000 doesn't go that far, and you're not making anywhere near that, who has a chance to sneak something out or give money to somebody, there you go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Trump is being Trump today. Goodness, joking even as so much when it comes to his dictatorship.
I was going to joke, General, and say at least for 10 or 14 years, but we would cause bedlam if I said
Bedlam. Bedlam! It is funny. He does make me laugh. He thinks he won? I don't think anybody won. I just think it is what it is, and we move on. It's politics. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Blink is amazing. When do you want to spot a burglar? You over there. When they're outside. Excellent. How do you do that? Don't know. With Blink. Indoor outdoor cameras, motion activated. picks up everything, protect the stuff delivered to your house so porch pirates don't steal it. And they've got the live feature where you can check out what's going on inside of your house live. You just download the Blink app. It's simple. No contracts, no subscriptions, totally affordable, easy to set up, indoor, outdoor cameras, wire-free, a couple AA batteries, last you up to 2 years. Here's the beauty of this. Right now, you can save up to a massive 42% on outdoor cameras or up to $200 on the multi-camera XT systems through April 20th, thanks to Blink. Home security just got so much easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale, blinkprotect.com/sale, blinkprotect.com/sale. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. Many of you texting in. I put my favorite picture on Twitter of the redacted version of the Mueller report. It's just one piece of paper, and it's just jet black. It's just, oh, my Lord. Check it out there. You can check it out on Instagram as well. Go to thechadshow.com, grab your podcast, and, of course, like us on the old Facebook. It is Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The special counsel investigated a number of links or contacts between the Trump campaign officials and individuals connected with the Russian government during the 2016 presidential campaign. After reviewing these contacts, the special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign.
There you go, Bill Barr. William Barr to you guys. I call him Bill. Perry Mason lookalike. Started his press conference, let it all out. Why did he have a presser? I don't know. I think he wanted to get it all out there. And he did, kind of. I don't know. But you have to go look through. It's redacted. Everybody wants to, I want to look at the unredacted version. I want to look at the unredacted version. Well, some of you are going to get to look at stuff that is for your eyes only, and that's going to be a very few, and everybody else is going to have to settle for this, and then everybody goes to their corners and they spin it. I have MSNBC on here today. I rotate through. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I have the Golf Channel on and TV Land when Gunsmoke's on. But all day today I've had MSNBC and CNN see how it spins, and it's just been spin after spin after spin because it makes for good theater. But does it change anything? Is healthcare any cheaper today? I checked. It's not. I didn't get a Mueller card where I could go to the gas station and swipe it, and it tells me, hey, are you part of the Mueller VIP club? And you're like, yeah. And you type in your code, and then all of a sudden you get, 25 cents off a gallon of gas. None of that stuff happened. None of it. What we have here is he didn't collude. He didn't conspire. He was frustrated, which I think if you're an honest person, you go, yeah, he seems like a guy that's kind of a hothead and gets frustrated based on all the things we've ever seen. But did some of the stuff you do rise to obstruction of justice? But if you don't have a crime, what are you obstructing? Can I really prove it? Even in a court of law, take away the Senate and any of these kind of things. Could I prove it in a court of law? Probably not. So, but still, there's news to be made.
After finding no underlying collusion with Russia, the special counsel's report goes on to consider whether certain actions of the president could amount to obstruction. The report recounts 10 episodes involving the president. After carefully reviewing the facts and legal theories outlined in the report, the Deputy Attorney General and I concluded that the evidence developed by the special counsel is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense.
So, but there was 10 of them. Some of them had to be obstruction of justice. Well, the Mueller report was allowed to go through with all of the things that it needed, right? There were situations where you could tell he was really pissed. He was angry. He was upset. In fact, one of the things that they talk about is just how absolutely angry he was once this thing came out because of the potential end of his reign.
Oh, my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. According to the report, that's what President Trump said when he found out a special counsel had been appointed. How could you let this happen, Jeff? You were supposed to protect me, he asked of then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who the president had considered his most important appointment. The report says the president went on to say, everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Could that be a frustration? Yes. Absolutely, it could be a frustration thing. You're not even president yet. They're already talking about how you stole an election and the Russians helped you. You've got a dossier that has been torn apart by everybody that I would still like to find out how that became the thing that we decided to look into. Yeah, I could see the frustration. In saying that, can you prove? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Can you prove in his mind? Because I heard, man, he's going to fire Mueller. He's going to do all of these things. He's going to get rid of all of these people. He's going to obstruct. He's going to tell his people to lie left, right, and center. He's instructed his people to fire, but nobody did any of those things. And maybe to the benefit of him, protected his ass by not doing some of those things. But you've got to get inside somebody's mind. And you're not going to be able to do it. So what now? I mean, that's going to be the biggest question moving forward. What now? Well, what now is going to be the giant battle of where we go from here if you're the Democrats, if you're Adam Schiff.
Whether the obstruction of justice was criminal or not, or whether these contacts were sufficiently illicit or not to rise the level of a criminal conspiracy, they are unquestionably dishonest, unethical, immoral, and unpatriotic and should be condemned by every American.
Yeah, but he also didn't collude. Nobody inside of his staff colluded. The Russians reached out. They didn't do anything. So what do you say at that point in time? We should be happy about that, right? I think we should be happy. I feel good about it. If he would have, in some way, shape, or form, conspired, then he should have damn well been gone. But at some point in time, you just step back and you say, okay, now what? Right? You can call it unpatriotic. Let me Chad-splain it for you. He didn't ask for any help, but he laughed about it and was totally fine that the Russians were doing what they're doing. He didn't seek out anything. Obama knew what was going on at the time. It came back and bit Trump in the ass, but he wasn't searching for it. So you have to ask yourself the question, okay, so if that, and then he had to obstruct. Well, if there was no crime, how do you obstruct something that's not a crime? Right? It's, it'd be like saying, hey, man, my wife's going to call. Tell her I was with you last night. Well, where were you? I went to my mom's house and she made me dinner and I just wanted to hang out with my mom and dad. But I don't want to tell her that. It's like, is that really a crime? Yeah, are you sure you weren't cheating? No, I wasn't. I was hanging out. You can ask my mom and dad. Blah, blah, blah. It's just so it's kind of ridiculous. But here we are. All the while this is going on, immigration issues at the border. Yesterday, El Paso set a record. You've got healthcare costs rising. Even if wages are rising, healthcare costs is rising to the point where it's outpacing anything that's happening there. Where's it going to be in the future? You've got no hope in the near future that they're going to deal with that in any real way. We have the right to ask questions about what are you guys going to do now? Are you going to spend, Democrats, are you going to spend the next 500 plus days until the next election just investigation after investigation after investigation because you want them gone? That is your number one thing. Your sole goal is to eliminate this president and get him out of there. That is your sole goal. All the while, people are like, maybe I'd like you to focus on some other stuff. Because you're not going to get him gone. You're going to have to vote him out. And by that, I mean the ballot. You don't have enough to impeach him. Even if you try, you don't have the Senate, so you're not going to get the votes. So it would just be going through the motions. And at some point in time, it's going to backfire on you. So you have to ask your question, what are you going to do? If I were you, I'd be working for the American people. That's you, that's me, that's everybody. Coming up with some solutions to some of the problems out there. And they're not going to be perfect, but they need to be dealt with. But you're not going to. And I continue to ask everybody this question. I'll ask you guys. You can text me. You can tweet at me at Chad Benson Show. Or you can text me directly, 323-538-CHAD. 323-538-2423. Had Hillary won with this investigation had gone on, I think we could honest with ourselves, be honest. No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have. They would still look into what the Russians were doing. Because it needs to be looked into. We need to figure out what's going on. We still need to combat this because it's still happening right now. And Russia's not doing it just to us. They're doing it to as many people as they possibly can. It's not just to us because we're doing it to them. Cyber warfare is real. These kind of things are real. Social media is just giving them another battleground. But it's also given us one. Obama knew what was going on. We all knew that. But would this have gone on? Had she won, would it have gone on? Would it have risen to the level where they went out, appointed special investigators at that time to go out and to tear everything apart? I don't think so. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I travel a lot. Drives me crazy sometimes. I don't mind it all the time, but after a while I get sick and tired because I'm never home and I love my animals. And they get taken care of better than anything out there. I mean, it's incredible. But I miss my cat 3 because he's awesome. I was talking yesterday to a congressperson. It's like, hey, that pretty litter stuff, we ordered it. My wife ordered it. I said, it's awesome. Gonna love it. This will really work. I said, it works amazing. Comes in these little bags. Right? Each bag's going to last you forever. And they're so small you can hold them with your 2 fingers. You're going to be surprised how long they last. You're not going to smell anything. It's incredible. And like, no way. I said, yeah. And said, how many cats do you have? And I said, I was naming my cats. And I said, I have cat 3. They're like, oh, you have 3 cats? I said, no, one of my cats named 3. Told them the story of 3. Man, but I tell you what, I love my animals. That's why I take care of them. And Pretty Litter's one of them. First of all, it's great that I don't have to smell any of the thing they do when they do their business. Secondly, Pretty Litter is so advanced that it will actually change colors. If there's a health problem, you can detect that just from the litter. That's how amazing it is. That way you get the cat straight into the vet, check it out, potentially saving you money, stress, and potentially your cat's life. Do what I did. Make the switch to Pretty Litter. You're going to get 20% off your first order. Go to prettylitter.com. Prettylitter.com. Use promo code Chad. Prettylitter.com. Promo code Chad. Prettylitter.com. Promo code Chad. Okay, kids. The Olympics aren't too far off, and another group is making a pitch for a sport to get in there. Pour some sugar on it. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
The baristas of Mighty Good Coffee in Ann Arbor formed a union after a racial discrimination lawsuit was filed against the company over the treatment of an employee. That employee has since left after settling with the company. The newly unionized baristas say they were in contract negotiations when they got layoff notices.
The management gets to walk away with the money that they made in their successful business, and we walk away with no jobs and no fair contract that we've been working for.
In a letter, the company explains they're closing the 4 shops because the owners felt the experience of running a business was overly stressful.
Yeah, that's what not management, but owners get to do. Owners get to go, I've had enough. I don't want to do it anymore. This is why robots and automation is going to play a huge part, especially in small business, where you don't have to deal with, if you had one or two people, that you trust that you can work with there, right? One or two people. So you work with one or two people that you could trust, and everybody else that's going to cause you headaches, which are other employees. Ask anybody who's an employee and or has employees. They'll tell you. What do you end up doing then? You have automation, and automation takes care of a lot of this stuff. Well, they got to take all their money and go Scrooge McDuck and put it inside their giant, huge vault and then dive into it. It's not the way it works. I get why people don't want to do stuff. I don't like, I have a few businesses and I work with a select few people, but otherwise I don't want employees. I don't. Because it's a pain in the ass. It really is. And what we do is a lot of contract, independent, far away people that we don't work outside of that because I just don't want the headache. And it's for a lot of people like, really? No. For some people it's fine, but I'll pass on that, kids. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Kids, get ready for the Olympics. It's coming soon. And guys, instead of gold medals, how about shameful dollar bills with glitter on it?
Well, if this won't get the seats filled at the next Olympics, I don't know what will. The International Pole Sports Federation has demanded to the Olympic Committee that they recognize pole dancing as a sport, a real sport.
Do you see pole dancing in the Olympics in the future?
Honestly, I think that would be amazing. Whether it gets there, it's a matter of time. So the best thing is to get out there and try it. Doesn't matter what your starting level is. Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. And it's exhausting. We were all talking about it. I mean, if you, and they have these pole dancing classes where you can go like spin classes and stuff. And I'm sure it's absolutely exhausting. Right? But come on. Would it be kind of cool? We're talking about putting breakdancing in. So why would we stop here? Huh?
Someone as physically fit and capable as Jennifer Lopez has said that this is one of the hardest things she's ever had to learn in her career.
When people tell you, oh, so you do pole dancing? How do you respond to that?
There's definitely a stigma that people have, and I just explain to them that it's one of the best forms of fitness I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. Instead of dancing for the United States of America, it's like dancing for Mr. Cha-Cha's. Put your hands together for Amber Rains. Oh, my goodness. I like it. We need to laugh a little bit today. DJs in the background. People eating cheap burgers while they watch it. I'm good with that. 323-538-2423. Speaking of that, 70% of men do not get checked for erectile dysfunction. And ED is something that you don't have to be ashamed of, guys. And let's be real. We don't like to go talk about stuff like this. Our ego takes a hit. Roman has come up with the best, easiest way to deal with that. Go to GetRoman.com/Benson. You can have a free online visit. In fact, you can see a U.S. physician. You can actually get medicine directly sent to your door in unmarked packaging. It is simple and easy. You fill out a dynamic online visit. You sit there and you talk to a doctor. Everything is done online. And then you get prescribed. It comes directly to you. No hassle, no craziness, no walking in and sitting in the waiting room and doing any of this stuff. It is that easy right now. Free online visit. It is for you. Go to GetRoman.com/Benson. 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 At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Talk a little pizza in a little bit. Guy eats a lot of pizza. And I started thinking, how many pieces do I eat a year? For that, though, Doug Schoen is going to join us, former Fox political analyst, former Clinton advisor. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Collapse! It's a new book, A World in Crisis, the urgency of American leadership. Joining us now is the author, Doug Schoen. He's a former Fox News contributor and a former consultant there and worked an advisor with old Bill Clinton and Bloomberg. And I appreciate you coming on today. Collapse indeed. We have a world in crisis. If you just watch the news, Doug, it looks like the whole world is falling apart. But you and I both know better than that.
Well, I don't think it's falling apart, but it's certainly heading in the wrong direction. And what, to me, as a moderate to conservative Democrat, is missing is the crucial variable of strong and assertive American leadership.
You talk about you're a moderate Democrat. The reality is AOC, she grabs all the headlines, right? And I spent a couple days, I spent 24 hours with several Republican congressmen down at the border the other day. AOC grabs the headline, and I've talked to several other, people like you who are Democratic pundits and people that are out there working it. The fact is, she grabs the headline, but in this last blue wave that came through, the majority of them were much like you, moderate Democrats, maybe even had some red ideas in their head, but they were still Democrats voting wise. Yet the what grabs the headlines is none of that. And I don't think people really understand that.
No, I don't, because AOC is great copy. Representative Omar, even better. And look, the president's strategy, which on one level is a shrewd one, is to make them the literal face of the Democratic Party and campaign against them. So that's where the media is going to go. And people lose the fact that there are a heck of a lot of moderates in swing districts that swung the Congress.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to Doug Schoen, former Fox political analyst and advisor to Bill Clinton and Mr. Bloomberg there, and an author as well. His new book's called Collapse, A World in Crisis and the Urgency of American Leadership. Do we, America, I mean, we've always been that beacon of hope around the world. When you decided to write this book, you've been around the world. You've worked with a lot of different governments and people around there. Do you feel like that we're sliding away from that beacon of hope and other countries are trying to put themselves in that position?
Absolutely. I mean, I see us not asserting the primacy of our position, the urgency of freedom, liberty, democracy, as the authoritarians led by Russia and China and rogue nations, Venezuela, Iran, North Korea, are on the ascendancy. It's scary, very scary.
Very, very scary. So what do we do? I mean, obviously you're probably not a Trump fan, and we'll touch on that in a little bit as he gets ready to, as he's running for re-election and all the people that are jumping in there. But what do we do? Because Trump, in a lot of ways, he's, I don't want to say he's a complete isolationist, but definitely pulling back from what we were. Because I'll say this, I don't want a nation build anymore, in particular through our military. I see too much money being wasted. I don't want to give up on our friends and allies. That's not something we should do. But there's got to be a happy medium somewhere in there.
Well, that's what I'm arguing for. I'm arguing that we're pulling back too much, and we've got to be more assertive. I mean, I just think, the Russians go to Venezuela, they go to Syria, and to be fair, it's not just Donald Trump. God knows Barack Obama, and the Democrats deserve more than their fair share of blame. But I just think as a nation, we need to stand up for, I think, principles most of us would agree are superior. Our commitment to freedom and liberty beats authoritarianism any time. And most people around the world, no matter how sophisticated or unsophisticated, understand that to their core.
Absolutely. The book's called Collapse, A World in Crisis and the Urgency of American Leadership. The author's joining us, Doug Schoen. Trump is going to face who knows who. Right now, it looks like Bernie is definitely in the lead. And he, I don't know if it's continuing momentum. I'm surprised that he's doing as well as he's doing because I thought that they would be looking for younger blood. But he's occupied a lane that a lot of the left wants to get into, and that has been his lane for years, and he seems to be driving it. Outside of that, you've got Buttigieg, who is very interesting. Even Trump today said he'd enjoy that. And you've got Biden, who knows what he's going to do. When you look out there right now, is there any other surprises coming that we should be looking at?
The surprises, I think, are that with the way the delegate contests are going, or could go, and the number of candidates running, we could have for the first time in many, many years, I think maybe even since 1960, if I've got it right, or 68, a brokered convention. We may go into the summer of 2020 without a nominee. Now, That hasn't happened in a very long time. But I think the Democratic division, and also what Attorney General Barr said and did this morning, strengthens immeasurably the president's chances of reelection.
What do you think of what happened today? Because the Mueller report's come out. I'm getting through some of it. Quite frankly, Doug, I got to be honest with you. I'm waiting for either the audiobook version or the Netflix version because it's just a lot. Today, being a speed reader, having a law degree, and a minor in journalism, you would be the most popular person on any of the news networks. But what do you think of what you saw, not only today, but just this entire thing that has gone on for the last 2+ years?
Basically nothing. I think opinion is pretty much hardened. I'm sure there are a few sort of sleazy things that President Trump and the Republicans did, but by far the dominant sentiment is no collusion, no one was involved with the Russians, and the Trump team, bottom line, may have tolerated their intervention, but there's no evidence to prove the central assertion that led to the special counsel being appointed. And with his poll numbers going up, I think the president come out of this pretty well.
You know, you say that, and the average person, I mean, you know this, and this again goes back to the AOCs of the world, this, that, and the other you're seeing out there who are getting all the headlines and sucking the oxygen out of the room. But the reality is we got rising cost of healthcare. We do have an immigration issue. I was down at the border the other day. We have an issue that we have a broken system. All of these things that are happening, rising, and we're not dealing with it in a way that should be dealt with. The American people care about that. Nobody goes to bed at night going, Russia. They think, oh my God, my healthcare may rise again. I might have to make real choices. We keep the kids on, but we're going to go off. How do we get that message out to the people? That's what matters, even though I know it's not good theater on television.
Right. And that's, my attitude when people have asked me about Barr, I say Democrats should move on and talk about the issues, offer their views, rather than just banging away at Donald Trump, which maybe makes them feel good, but doesn't get them any votes. So I agree.
No, absolutely. And I'm telling you, Doug, it flabbergasts me because there's so many more important things. And I talk to people on a daily basis, and they are, they're frustrated with just the little things, the cost of healthcare, but the cost of gas going up, little things like that eat into the day-to-day life of the average American citizen, that these people in D.C. and they think, no, what happens here in this little zone is the thing that matters most. And it's not. It's political theater. It's sound bites and it's raising money.
That's exactly right. And I wish my friends of the Democratic Party could internalize what you're saying and act on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Collapse, a world in crisis, and the urgency of American leadership. Does Trump have it in him to be a world leader where people look up to it? I mean, we're so tribal anyways anymore, even in this country. My God, even inside with our own parties, we've become tribal. Like they're all breaking off into their own little cliques. But does Trump have it in him to lead where other leaders are going to look up to him? Or is that something because of how, he can be and at times just, let's be real, it's cartoonish, and at other times it feels like he's doing something right. Does he have it in him where other leaders are going to look up to him?
I don't see it. I don't see the kind of leadership that we have traditionally enjoyed from our presidents, Democrat and Republican. I'm not being partisan. I think that's the problem with the America First approach of Trump, that, he does not inspire the same sense of fear and awe that we have traditionally generated. And, you look at North Korea and you say, well, what's happening? You look at Venezuela and you say, a lot of rhetoric, no real action. You look at Syria and you say the Russians succeeded. We didn't. You look at Iran, I'm glad we abrogated the nuclear deal, but isn't clear to me what our strategy is. So
is that a lot of what it is, Doug? Is the strategy missing? I mean, Venezuela has been a mess for a long time, and I think his whole thing is let's just let it collapse and let it work on himself. But I look around and I do ask the questions. I'm glad we're leaving Syria, something we shouldn't have been involved in. He didn't get us into there, but let's get the hell out of places where they don't want us. But we do have to watch the Russians, the Chinese, for different reasons. We're still militarily superior. economically we're still superior, but we need to stay there. And I am curious about, that was my big thing with him. Is he going to surround himself with people who on the foreign side of it really get it?
Well, I think the jury is still out. I don't really have a good answer to that question, save our position, as I argue in Collapse, is weakening, and I do not see either party, and I want to be very fair about this, taking the kind of leadership role I would hope an American democracy and an American president would take.
Last question. The book's called Collapse, A World in Crisis and the Urgency of American Leadership. The author, Doug Jones, joining us right now. If you had to lay your money right now on the 733 people, are you running for president? You may be. I don't know. The 733 people on the left side of the aisle that are running.
I'll let you know.
Who would you put your money on at this moment, 500 plus days away?
Yeah, I'd put it on Bernie, Buttigieg, or Kamala Harris. And I guess as I sit here today, probably I'd pick Kamala Harris as the most likely nominee, probably running with somebody like Buttigieg.
Very interesting. Love it. Get the book, People Collapse, A World in Crisis, and the Urgency of American Leadership. Doug Schoen, thanks so much for coming on today. I know you're very busy. I appreciate
my great pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter, ChadBenson. People say you don't have people on the left. We do have people on the left. He's a normal person on the left. He's not crazy. He's not cuckoo. He's not some far-right fringe person. An average person coming on, been in the business for a long time, work with the Clintons, work with Bloomberg, work with a lot of people, has been out there in the trenches, and he gets it. And he talked about something today that needs to be talked about. If you're a Democrat, is you're out there saying AOC isn't our party. Just a few of them got in. The wave came from the moderate Democrats who can reach across the aisle. Not this crazy tribalism. It's just insane. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what?
I have a fascination with pizza. I have no idea how many pizza items I have. I got a bunch of books. I got a bunch of weird paraphernalia from pizzerias, like pizza peels. I have about 700 slices a year, probably upwards of 8,000 in the past 11 years. I've definitely visited thousands of pizzerias in my life so far, and I'm just getting started.
That is a lot of pizza. That guy's obsessed with pizza. So he says he has 700 slices a year. It's almost 2 slices a day of pizza. And I started thinking to myself, you probably have pizza once a week? Say you even average 2 pieces of pizza, right? You're over 100 pieces a year. And for some of you out there, you have a little bit more. Sometimes you have a little bit less, but yeah, that's crazy. I started thinking to myself, like how many burgers do I have a year? How many? Think about it. If you're just bringing, what's your favorite food item? How many pieces of whatever it is? Is it pizza? Is it salad? Is it donuts? I mean, what is it?
I called up Guinness World Records and I said, look, I've got a lot of pizza boxes. And they said, well, okay, if you have 500, it's a record. And I said, well, good, I got 595. Let's do this. I got a Guinness World Record, and that was a few years ago. Now I have 1,471 pizza boxes in my pizza box collection.
That is a lot. My assumption thank God he doesn't learn about video games. Probably single.
Pizza was always a social activity. And to this day, that's what I love about it, is that it's simultaneously communal and independent. Because you can be with a bunch of people eating pizza, but you're eating it your own way. I just want to keep learning more about pizza. I want to do more traveling and understand different cultures and their interaction with pizza. Pizza calls me, and I must answer that call.
I do too. It's a shame. Donuts call me and I answer. Like, who's this? Donut? Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Waiting for you. All right, I'll come over. Oh, but I do love pizza. I could eat, and I think about this. I was listening to this guy. I'm like, okay, what's the one piece of food that you could eat every day? Like, what if you were to eat food? Like, you get one choice where you can have stuff throughout the day, but every day you're going to have one piece. What is it? And pizza may fall in that category. Because you do so much with pizza, right? You can have with cheese, you can have with anchovies, you can have, and is there a place like Producer Phil, you go to, what is it, the Mellow Mushroom, the Magic Mushroom?
I did not like that place. My favorite
You didn't
place
like
is
that?
the Stained Glass Pub.
Oh, yeah, the stained glass. Now, could you eat it every day? Could you eat a slice from there every day?
A slice, yes, every day.
Yeah, see? Yeah. I mean, this guy, he has a couple pieces a day. It's not like he eats 25 pieces a day, but you could. I could see that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Have they done something amazing? Yes, no, maybe. Future will tell, but scientists have restored some function in the brain of dead pigs. And this is very interesting. So they haven't regained electrical activity with consciousness or awareness, but they've done some stuff where they revived certain parts of the brain. And now, here's the thing. People, the ethics side of it is the thing that a lot of people are freaking out about, but they're not quite sure because the difference is they didn't kill these animals. They got them from slaughterhouses about 30 to 40 minutes later after they were dead. So you're not worried about, are we harming the animal? But the ramifications for this and where this could go when it comes to really being something could be groundbreaking and disruptive is huge, especially when it comes to things like Alzheimer's, dementia, people who've had strokes, things of that nature. It's very, very interesting. So I saw somebody say, we've now created Frankenswine. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Outdoor, indoor, you got to watch out. What's going on inside your house? That's where Blink comes in. No contracts, no subscriptions. Amazing cameras, motion activated. They can check on your house outside, make sure there's none of those people of nefarious character skulking about trying to break in. You can also monitor what goes on inside of your house, like if your kids are getting up to no good or your pets. Easy to set up, wire-free, couple AA batteries, last you up to 2 years, and you get the Blink smartphone app so you can see what's going on. It's incredible. And right now, save up to a massive 42% on outdoor cameras or up to $200 on multi-camera XT systems through April 20th. Thanks to Blink, home security just got so much easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. blinkprotect.com/sale. blinkprotect.com/sales. At Chad Benson Show's Twitter. ChadBenson. God, pizza sounds good now. I'm hungry. I could do pizza tonight. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to get out of here late, though. I'm going to go eat popcorn and probably have a hot dog at the movie theater. But pizza, if they offered me pizza, yeah, I might do that. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The special counsel investigated a number of links or contacts between the Trump campaign officials and individuals connected with the Russian government during the 2016 presidential campaign. After reviewing these contacts, the special counsel did not find any conspiracy to violate U.S. law involving Russian-linked persons and any persons associated with the Trump campaign.
And like that, we will start politicking. 3, 2, go. Where we at? The politics begin. That right there is William Barr. William Barr. AG, Attorney General. Right? Top cop. Not Perry Mason. Has a little Perry Mason to him. Right? Not quite Perry Mason. So what does this all mean? Comes out, gives this thing. Everybody does what they do, which is you politic. You run around. You scream and yell. If you're on the right side of the aisle, you celebrate, and you're even a bit snarky.
That should make people feel very good about democracy. It should make them feel really great that a campaign that I managed to its successful end did not collude with any Russians. We're accepting apologies today, too, for anybody who feels the grace in offering them.
Kellyanne Conway right there, right? If you're on the other side of the aisle, you're not very happy about what took place. You're angry about what took place because, of course, you feel like it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, but you can find things inside of this that you can scream and shout about.
I want to emphasize the discrepancy between the sunshine spin that we saw from the Attorney General this morning and the detailed description of wrongdoing in this report.
Do you remember when Mueller was first appointed and everybody's like, the right was freaking out. The left is like, we're going to listen to him. We're going to do all we can to go by whatever he delivers us. We'll take it because we respect who he is. And along the way, there was all kinds of stuff. And then, Barr came in after Sessions went out and everybody freaked out about this. It's the spinning of however you want to spin it. They're talking about we didn't do a thorough enough investigation. Are you kidding me? 2 years is not thorough enough. It's never going to be enough if you don't find the thing that you want. The clock ran out, right? You're playing a game. The clock ran out. The ref blew the whistle. The buzzer sounds. There's not a lot you can do. But now you're saying, all right, best 2 out of 3.
The report also found that the president in his campaign took numerous steps to lie and obstruct that materially impaired the investigation. But in America, George, if you bury the evidence deep enough so no one can find it, you don't get off scot-free. There are crimes of obstruction of justice, and this is a double-digit obstructor in that the Mueller report found 10 instances where the president sought to obstruct justice.
That's Swalwell. He's running for president of the United States. He has no chance at winning president. So he's a double-digit obstructor, Jay Sekulow.
If you don't conclude the individual that's the subject of the investigation has committed a crime, you don't bring a charge. So what you've got here, look, if they had an obstruction case, they would have made it.
All the while, you woke up this morning. Many of you were like, I'll hear about it. It'll come across as an alert on my phone. I'll look at all the stuff on Facebook. But I got to get the kids to school. They have soccer practice. One of my kids has da-da-da. You're thinking all yourself. And I got this big thing that I'm doing tonight, this big report that's got to be done for work. And we got a chance to land this big account. All of those things are going on. And then you just went to the gas station more. You're like, son of a boop. Gas is continuing. How do we get to $4? How do we get to $3.50? How do we get to $3? You're asking yourself the question is, why is it continuing to go up? The frustration that's going on. And you'll listen to a bit of this and then the rest of it, it'll be like, hey, I got other things going on. That's the truth, right? Well, it's, and people say, well, that's kind of sad. It's not sad. We should be happy that our president didn't try to collude. Well, he did, Chad. No, we should be happy that nobody inside of his campaign worked with the Russians. Nobody inside of his campaigns colluded. Nobody. No. They did. It's right here on page blah, 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 blah. It's totally what's behind all this black stuff, this redacted area. No. We need to see this because this is where it is. Inside of here is where it is. And if you say to yourself, well, it's not on any of these 430 some odd pages. It must be on page 500. That's not released yet because it's being hidden and protected by Barr and Mueller. You want it so bad to be that way. You do. You want it so bad to be that way. But it's got to be. There has to be collusion. Somewhere in here, there has to be collusion. It must be collusion. They had to have proven it. There's no way there's not collusion.
The basis upon which this investigation began, which was this concern over Russian collusion with the Trump campaign or people in the Trump campaign, was answered very clearly. Couldn't have been any clearer. And that is that there is, in fact, no collusion. And they were emphatic about that.
No, you're wrong, Jay Sekulow. You're a liar. You're absolutely a liar. 110%. You lie. It's in there somewhere. Where is it? I don't know. We need to go deeper. We haven't gone deep enough. Somewhere in there is that smoking gun. Somewhere in there is that picture of Putin and Trump together riding a horse, right? And cuddling and canoodling each other and talking about how they're stealing the election. Somewhere there. I've been reading a lot through this, and quite frankly, it's very dry. You know, I would rather people act out the stuff in front of me. I think that would be more entertaining, you know. But a lot of it is, you got the Papadopouloses, and a lot of the stuff in here that's been redacted is based on the Roger Stone stuff because that is an ongoing investigation and there's a court thing. So obviously that's not going to come out. It's, is there some Russians involved? Yes, but we knew that, right? Obama knew that, but they didn't think it was going to be a big deal because they thought she was going to win. So none of this stuff would have took place. Shows you how real of the political world is. Let me ask you guys a question. All right, an honest question here. If you're honest, if you're on the left side of the aisle, had Hillary won, would any of this investigation had gone on? Right? Would we have done any of this had Hillary won? Or would we just went, and we would have all moved on? That's a question you need to ask yourself if you're serious about this. Because if the reason we're doing this because Trump won and we're trying to find a reason, it shows you how far you're willing to go to look for a reason. When you knew, it's not like Obama and the Justice Department and everybody else didn't know, all of our super secret sneaky spies and MI5 and Interpol. They didn't know. They knew stuff was going on because we're doing it too, for God's sake. So, of course, they're trying to do stuff. But you have to ask yourself, had she won, would this have just been a footnote and we would have never heard about it and they would have talked about it later on in hearings, but it would have been buried so far down in the New York Times and it would have been buried, on Fox and everybody else, and nobody would have ever talked about it and nobody would have investigated because nobody would have cared? In many ways, I think absolutely they would have. Because everybody thought it was going to go a certain way. So the only outcome in their minds is he had to have done something illegal to win. That's it. That is it. That is the only thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All the while this is going on, I was at the border the other day in Yuma. They've declared a state of emergency, even though there's nothing to see here, right? El Paso, they're breaking records.
Yesterday, in one 24-hour period, we had over 4,800 people cross our border, a new record for the modern era.
That's a lot, right? Like, do we congratulate? I mean, what is there a trophy? How is this, like, what's going on? That's Kevin McCallion right there, who, by the way, he's acting Homeland Security chief. He's acting, not a Trump guy. Was a Hillary guy. Just to let you guys know that. Not a Trump guy, was a Hillary guy. Even he's saying there's issues here.
It's just starting to get hot here in South Texas. It's only mid-April. It's going to get more and more dangerous to cross that border.
Yeah. But the golden goose is over here. Nothing's getting done. Things that matter to the American people. How about we fix our broken immigration system? How about we fix health care and get it to the point where we can really start to see premiums come down, choice rise, and us get a handle on the rising costs of prescription drugs in this country? How about we start to do those kind of things that matter to the American people? Right? We can do everything. I can walk and chew gum and talk and tweet. We can do all those things. How about we start doing stuff that really affects the average person in this country? Right? Healthcare. I'll continue to go back and beat the drum for healthcare. Knowing what I pay, knowing the cost of healthcare, I will continue to be, because it needs to be dealt with, and it's not being dealt with, and it isn't being dealt with anytime soon. And that should piss all of us off. While they're going to go out and spend the next umpteen weeks, months, and potentially year plus, and if Trump wins again, years, investigating everything about it, all the while, you may be earning more money, but health care's outpacing that. How's that make you feel? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Speaking of money, When's the last time you took a peek at what you're paying on your credit cards? You're like, oh, geez, I don't even look at that. You should. Often you're paying in the teens, high teens. Stop it. You want to start saving yourself money, get a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. Simple and easy. As low as 6.14% APR with autopay. Loans up to $100,000. And in many cases, you can get the money the same day you apply. And Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank. So you have to worry about, is this some fly-by-night company? No. It is incredible. They're really good. They're amazing. They can help you out. How would you like to apply for something today? Get it in your bank, consolidate those loans, have one easy payment, take a deep breath when it comes to your finances, and then say to yourself, you know what? I can start putting some of this money away and paying down the house or paying off some of these cars and start building as opposed to just treading water. Save more. You can if you're a listener of the Chad Benson Show, which you are. All you have to do is go to lightstream.com/Benson, lightstream.com/Benson. You can save yourself even more there. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50 auto pay discount. Right, terms and conditions apply. Offer is subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. They will treat you right. Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
McConnell's bill has the support of one tobacco producer, Altria, which says they see the plan as the best way to stem the increased use of vaping devices by teens. In McConnell's home state of Kentucky, 45% of high school students report having tried vaping devices, and about 95% of adult smokers began using tobacco products before turning 21.
Yeah, so they're going to try to get a new bill out there that you have to be 21 to smoke, unless you're serving in the military, I guess. I'm trying to figure this out because it's again, infancy of some of these things, but they're going to try to, and you ask yourself, all right, here's a good idea. Here's a perfect example of, in a political world. 21, first of all, smoking is, you're 18, you're an adult at 18. You can vote, right? You can be in the military, but you can't drink, you can't smoke, but now they're thinking about changing that, which I'm okay with, right? I don't smoke, I don't drink, you do what you do, but again, I'm okay with. It's very interesting when I listen to this and I think to myself, well, hold on a second. Here's something that I find to be, can you get bipartisan behind this? Can everybody get together in a bipartisan way in something like this? That there's really, what's the political ramifications, right? Like smokers are going to take to the internet and destroy you, or no, because most of the states across the country are eliminating places where you can and can't smoke, and they've been doing it for years. So is this something where, well, there's no real tribalism towards it, where you can get something done? And then if it doesn't get done, I want to know who got paid, because that's the money you follow right there, kids. That's the money you follow right there. Speaking of money, this guy is on fire.
James now has the 3 highest one-day totals for winnings on Jeopardy. James.
Was Harding.
Yes.
Home runs, education, plain Jane, bargaining, the mashed potato.
Yes. You've become a celebrity now. Going to be a lot of pressure on you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he is crushing it. How much? Well, let's just say he's rewriting all of the Jeopardy record books. His name is James Holzhauer. He's a Vegas sports bettor. Wednesday's episode, $131,127, captured his 10th straight victory. He's won almost $700,000 in the 10-day run. Second all-time only to Ken Jennings. Jennings won. That took him 36. Yesterday, he was 40 for 40. He went in the final Jeopardy round, almost $72,000. Huge lead, right? The other two people had a combined $10,400, respectively, though. He risked $60,000 in the final category, knowing exactly what he was. 20th century literary characters. The answer, his first name refers to the ancient distinct district in which you'd find a Greek capital. His surname is a bird. Who is Atticus Finch? He wrote, who is Atticus Finch? This is for you, Grandma. That's some money right there, kids. That's some money. You're thinking to yourself, what do you do all day? Just a smart dude. Decide, hey, I'm going to take it on the road. Let me show you what I can do. They say he's going to break Ken Jennings at the pace he's going much quicker. Ken won 74 games in a row. They believe at the pace he's going to do it in half the time. Whew. That's some smartness right there, kids. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. What a day it is if you're the president. What?
The special counsel found no evidence that any American, including anyone associated with the Trump campaign, conspired or coordinated with the Russian government or the IRA in this illegal scheme.
Now, by the way, the IRA is not the Irish Republican Army. The spinning is going on. We'll touch more on that. California wants to do something when it comes to sports and monies that are paid to athletes. We'll touch on that as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Mueller report. Just another Mueller Thursday. Oh. Interesting. Some of the stuff in it, I've been reading it. You know, it's really dry. It's like bad dry toast is what it is. Some of the stuff I do find interesting is how Trump reacted when it comes to finding out there was going to be a special counsel.
Oh, my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. According to the report, that's what President Trump said when he found out a special counsel had been appointed. How could you let this happen, Jeff? You were supposed to protect me, he asked of then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who the president had considered his most important appointment. The report says the president went on to say, everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right? All right. One of them, maybe in your professional political life, it could be. But he didn't say, oh, my God. He said, oh, my beep. But now it's kind of over. I mean, they're going to drag it on, right? Because it's political theater. They're going to bring Mueller and they're going to the Hill. You know, they ask Barr, are you going to allow him to testify? He's like, yeah, he can testify. Are you sure? Yeah, you can go ahead. Bring him up there. Mueller's like, how come? Yeah, but are you positive? What are you going to tell him to say? It's like, he's going to show up. You guys ask him the damn questions. It's not enough. Right? Now they're saying, well, if we did a more thorough investigation, one of the reasons we didn't wait to try to go after the president, subpoena him to get him to talk is because it was just going to take too much time. And I think also by then they'd also gone through and said, well, hold on a second. I mean, the reality is we've looked at pretty much everything. What else? What is he going to say? Well, who knows what he would have said? So now it's off to the Southern District Court of New York. What will happen there? Can we find something there? Could we get something there? There's got to be something somewhere. We've got to get him. We have to get him. That has to be. And that is so much of what this is. I heard somebody say today, I don't care how we get him. Let's just get him. And they use the analogy that we always bring up here on the old Chad Benson Show, which is, they couldn't get Capone on all of the things that you think you would get Capone on. So what can we find that's not that, but surprise him anyway? Is it obstruction, right? That's the big thing. It's obstruction. It's got to be obstruction. Somewhere in there has to be something that will lead to his demise. It's got to be somewhere in there. It has to be. Where is it? We're going to look over everything. We're going to make this our end all to be all. This is all we're going to do. We're not going to try to fix healthcare. We're not going to deal with what's going on in immigration. We don't care what happens to the economy. The world can be falling apart, but until we get this guy, it's all that matters. That is all that matters. Period. Barr's a bad guy. Barr's an evil guy now.
I believe you can be the Attorney General of the United States or the President's lawyer, but you can't be both. And the way that he conducted himself to get this job, the failure to recuse himself, and the way he mischaracterized the report in the press conference shows that he's more interested in being the President's lawyer.
By the way, go look up some of the stuff that other AGs have done for their presidents in the past. Just take a peek. It's doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just saying, go look, right? Go look. Now, there is going to be a report that is going to be sent to a group of people, right? Politicians. They're going to have a chance to look at everything that's redacted minus a few things.
As I understand it, the only thing that the Gang of Eight, which I'll be a part of, will not be shown is what is prohibited by law from us to be shown. So that's about as open as the AG could possibly be. And the leadership group, this sort of called Gang of Eight, is purely bipartisan.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. We'll find out what's going to happen. But if you think it's going away today, it's not going away today. Trump can be absolutely excited about it. People can say the things that they want to say.
The big lie that you've let fly for 2 years, it's over, folks.
It's not, because it's just the beginning. This is the end of the first act. The second act is going to start. Now, the reality is, though, how that second act is played with Pelosi and the Schumers and the Swalwells and the Adam Schiffs could potentially impact negatively the Democratic Party. So you have to walk that certain fine line and balance of getting to the point where it becomes so apparent that you could care less about anything else that's happening in America and in politics, that your number one goal is to defeat him, and in doing so, put your party up against it in 2020. And knowing also that you're not going to get an impeachment because the Republicans control the Senate. So then what? Then what do you do? And this is where Nancy Pelosi is going to have to battle the Maxine Waters, the AOCs, all of these people who are going to be screaming and yelling, impeach, saying you may be comfortable where you are because you guys are in a district where you're never going to have a chance. But there are other people that could potentially be vulnerable. And if we overreach and overstep and things go to hell in a handbasket and it lands on us and we lose everything, while you may be safe in your fiefdom, we could be up the creek and he could be reelected easily because we'll have made a martyr out of him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Do love hearing from you. Many of you are texting in about this. I love that. Feel free to do that. What do you think? You know, I'm of the opinion, and continue to be this way, that the American people are over it. The average person hasn't been paying as close attention as the media wants you to feel they are. And on the other side of things, they are thinking to themselves, you know what? I've got fatigue. It's time to move on to something else. Can you guys address some issues out there that really need to be addressed? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Speaking of that, how about climate change? AOC's fun. So she's reworking the Green New Deal, and it's interesting. And understand what the Green New Deal is, right? Understand what it is. It's not, let's fix climate change. It's let's use climate change as a tool to address social injustices and also as a tool to gain a lot more control, government control, over the evil that is capitalism and a lot of the people out there.
In 2019, I was a freshman in the most diverse Congress in history. Up to that point, it was a critical time with the Green New Deal. We knew that we needed to save the planet and that we had all the technology to do it. But people were scared. They said it was too big, too fast, not practical. I think that's because they just couldn't picture it yet. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you are getting ahead of yourself. You are. So let's talk about what's going to happen here, right? So this AOC, she's got this new, and I just find it interesting, and I want people to understand, it's, when people talk about like socialism, right? And everybody's like, well, Bernie's not that kind of socialist. No, there's a lot of things that Bernie is. Look at Bernie's past, where he has been, the people he's admired, the people he's championed, where he's taken his honeymoon, for God's sake. He didn't take his honeymoon in Gothenburg or Stockholm, right? Or Hjorring or Copenhagen. See the places that he admires and the people that he's admired. When he talks about socialism and he says, we want to be like Denmark. No, you don't want to be like Denmark or Sweden. You want people to have health care, right? You want that. But you don't want a lot of what they have school choice over there. Anybody? School choice? You think that's going to happen here? No. They don't have a death tax. Oh, no, we need to tax the dead more, right? When I hear him talk about stuff, it's not on that bent, except for when you talk about healthcare. Everybody uses healthcare, just like the Swedes. That's healthcare. That's healthcare. Well, one of the things that I look at this whole Green New Deal, and I look at this because understanding regulations that come with this are going to be massive. They are. A younger generation, I read a Gallup poll today that we are the least religious we have been. Do not identify with a religion in a way, and belong to the Catholic Church, the Protestants, non-denominational. We are so far from where we have been, and so many younger people are turning to something else to be the center of something, and government seems to be that thing. So why not use something like climate change to really drive home a point of, hey, let's do this, and in doing this, when you start to listen to some of these undertones of things, it feels a little like you want to grab a lot of stuff here.
We lost a generation of time we'll never get back. Entire species will never get back. Natural wonders gone forever. When I was elected to Congress, the world's leading climate scientists declared another emergency. They told us that we had 12 years left to cut our emissions in half, or hundreds of millions of people would be more likely to face food and water shortages, poverty, and death. 12 years to change everything.
12 years. 12 years. But this is when it starts to get a little bit like, okay, so now that we got the fear, right? Emotion, just like what you're seeing with the Mueller report. Fear, emotion. Now let's see what we're going to do.
The only way to do it was to transform our economy, which we already knew was broken, since the vast majority of wealth was going to just a small handful of people. And it was a true turning point. The Great Depression, World War II. We knew from our history how to pull together to overcome impossible odds.
Okay, so a transfer of wealth. And what have I been saying for a very long time? A younger generation, this is their fight. Social injustice, climate change. They don't have the Russians. They don't have communism. They don't have the Germans twice. They don't have that. Because there's a lot of people that disagree with the way that we've handled the wars, in the Middle East and Afghanistan and things like that. And like Iraq, I was never a fan of. There's a lot. So there's not that coming together moment, whether it's the Great Depression or that so many of Americans, we were all like, we're trying to go in that. This is what this is. And why not try to grab as much power along the way as you possibly can?
We owed it to our children to try. The wave began when Democrats took back the House in 2018, and then the Senate and the White House in 2020, and launched the decade of the Green New Deal, a flurry of legislation that kicked off our social and ecological transformation to save the planet. Finally, we were entertaining solutions on the scale of the crises we faced.
Ah, the crises. Remember, this is the Green New Deal. We're going to change everything based on what? Yeah, based on climate change. But it's got to be social justice along with climate change, which means there's going to be lots of legislation, which means there are lots of bills. The bills are going to pass through. They're going to become laws. They're going to become regulations. They're going to become control.
Of the crises we faced without leaving anyone behind. That included Medicare for All, the most popular social program in American history. By committing to universal rights like health care and meaningful work for all, we stopped being so scared of the future. We stopped being scared of each other, and we found our shared purpose.
So, Medicare for all, jobs for all. It feels like government's really getting involved in a lot of this stuff. This feels like a lot of overreach here, but you got to do it with fear, and this is what you do. So be prepared, kids. We joke about her, but a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of politicians on a daily basis, they'll tell you, a lot of people in the Democratic Party, and I've talked to 2 Democrats who fear the backlash that comes with her social media and what could potentially happen and how the left is moving so far left to the point where they feel. I talked to a politician the other day who is a Democrat who said to me, my base has moved so far left. If I got primaried now, I'd be done. Think about that and where we're headed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Scientists have found that they can regenerate some of the pigs' brains who've been killed. They've been dead for up to 30 minutes. And I thought, ugh, what do they taste like? I'm not talking about the brains, the pigs. Chad! Vegans are going to be mad at me now. Get over yourself. Butcher Box delivers 100% of grass-fed, grass-finished, free, organic ranging beef and chicken and all this amazing stuff. And you know what? They're not regenerating any of it. You get to snack away at it. What? Yeah, it's incredible. Best cuts anywhere. Price delivered straight to you. So affordable, less than $6 a meal. Tastes like you could not believe. What are you waiting for? I'm telling you guys right now, design your own box, get it delivered straight to your door, and eat like a king or queen or a dictator. It's amazing. Butcher Box, offering my listeners the ultimate breakfast bundle. 2 packs of the best tasting bacon. Yeah. And 2 pounds of custom breakfast sausage plus $20 off your first box. All you have to do is sign up at butcherbox.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here. Just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
We're still working our way through this, but I count 5 people close to the president who refused to follow the president's directives on issues that would have raised obstruction of justice concerns. So here you have the people that are with the president, that are closest to the president, that are the most loyal to the president, refusing to carry out his directives because they felt, presumably, that these would be illegal. Really an extraordinary tapestry here looking at this. They may have protected the president from himself. If they had gone through with any of these, the implication here is that there would be an obstruction of justice case.
Well, the Mueller report's out, and the winner is people in the media, I guess, something to talk about. You guys didn't win anything. I didn't win anything. I keep going to the mailbox. I was like, there's no prize in here for this. There's no special Mueller credit card that gets me a cheaper health care or a discount at the gas station. None of that stuff. They're like, when you go to the gas, you put your card in, and it says, are you a member of the Mueller VIP Club? And you type it in, and then you're like, you saved 25 cents a gallon. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. It is what it is. The debating will begin. People will pick and choose, and this will start to die down because something will happen in the next couple days or weeks or whatever, and then Mueller will come up on the Hill, and he'll have his day, and that'll be a big flurry of stuff, and then the investigations will continue to go on and on and on and on, and if he wins again, and the investigations will continue on and on and on and on, and this is what we're going to have for the foreseeable future, and then he's either voted out or he stays another 6 years, and we continue to move on and on and on and on and have more investigation. 323-538-2423. Useless fact of the day. Mike Nicholson, Kalamazoo, Michigan. 29 degrees he has. 29 degrees. Everything from a bachelor's to religion to the master's of arts and so much more. Think about that today when you're deciding, should I go back to school? He has 29 degrees. 29. Have a good rest of your day. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.